this video, we are going to get our SiteGround account set up. So the first thing we need to do is get ourselves over to SiteGround.com, which you can do by typing SiteGround.com into your address bar. Or if you'd like to support Church Site Hero, go to churchsitehero.com/get/SiteGround. This will take you right to SiteGround's front page. And it may look different for you right now, depending on when you're going through this course. But what we're looking for is the WordPress hosting. So we'll select WordPress hosting, and then we're going to use the lowest plan, the startup plan. SiteGround usually is running some kind of discount, and right now they're giving 80% off, plus a free domain, and that is if you pay for a full year in advance. So let's click Get the Plan, and after that, we will go through a fairly simple setup process. And the first thing we need to do is choose a domain. Now, I know that you might not be ready to select a domain for your website. Again, this is the address for your website. If you are not ready to make that choice, there is one little trick you can do, and it's not really listed as an option. This is more like a loophole in their setup process. If you don't want to pay for a domain right now, you can select that I already have a domain. You can type in a domain that is not registered. So let's just say herochurchdemo123.org. And when you click Proceed, SiteGround will search for that domain. If it's not an actual registered domain, it will detect that and ask if you want SiteGround to register for it. You register the domain for you. So what we'll do is click No Thank You, and it will go ahead and let us proceed without paying for the domain. If you already have a domain, which means you might have it registered already, or you might have an existing website already, and you are remaking your website, and in that case, you can type in the domain that you are using or already have registered. For me, for now, in this video, I will just register a new domain, and we're going to go with Hero Church Demo. Over here, .com will be selected by default, and you can choose any extension you'd like. These are all the extensions that SiteGround will support. Typically, churches will use .org, sometimes .church, sometimes .com. It is up to you, and there's no real hard and fast rule for this. It more just indicates to the website visitor what type of website you have. So for now, we're going to click .org and proceed. On the final page, you will enter in an email and password, and this will be for your SiteGround hosting account. This is how you will log into SiteGround. Below that is the client information, which is some additional information, and this will be used for your domain contact information, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Then your payment information, and then you have just a summary of what you're going to be paying for before proceeding. So let's take a look at a few things really quick. We have our startup plan, which is the low-cost WordPress hosting that we just selected, and this shows us that our website files will be stored in a data center in the US, and we are paying for 12 months upfront, so we're paying for the full year to get the best deal, which is the $299 a month. That's what it breaks down to. So our hosting for the full year will be $35.88, which is a really good price. And if we look at some of the extras down here, we're getting a free domain for the first year. And just keep in mind that once it is time for renewal, the full price will be $21.99 a year after that. So back up to our client information here. Domains are required to have contact information. The purpose of this is so that anyone can get in touch with a domain owner if they needed to. In my experience, that's never happened to me, but it is just one of the rules for domain registrations. You can list your own name here or your church's name and address and information. But what is good to know is that you can set up domain privacy, and instead of listing your personal contact information, the domain registrar or SiteGround will list proxy contact information or their own information, and they will then act as a go-between in the unlikely event someone needs to get in touch with you about your domain. In general, I always recommend domain privacy. That will keep your personal information private and also will prevent you from being targeted by spammers. Domain privacy here at SiteGround is $12 for the first year and $24 every year after that. So once we get to the end here, our total is going to be $47.88, which gives us 1 year of startup plan hosting, 1 year of domain. We're actually not paying for that for this first year, and 1 year of domain privacy. Now, before we go ahead and pay that, I want to point out another option. If you want to save a little bit of money and have your domain managed somewhere else, what I do for a lot of my websites is I use Namecheap.com. So you can go to churchsitehero.com/get/Namecheap. And here you can look through and register all the same domains. And another benefit of Namecheap is that they do support .church domains. You cannot do a .church domain at SiteGround. I just want to show you really quickly here. I have herochurchdemo.org for a full year, domain privacy for a full year. And this is costing me $7.16. Registration cost is discounted right now, $6.98, but even if I go to the full price next year, it's still only about $13. And the good thing is domain privacy here at Namecheap is free. So they offer free domain privacy every year. Some people like to have their domain and their website all managed under the same account, and that's fine. But if you want to have your domain registered at Namecheap, you can connect it to your SiteGround website just the same. It'll work just as well. Okay, so if we head back over here, if you do want to go with Namecheap, then you would go through the domain registration process with them first, and then you would go through the SiteGround setup. And in doing so, you would be able to select the option that you already have a domain, and you type in the domain you've registered at Namecheap and proceed. Okay, so to review where we are so far, we've chosen our plan. We've gone through our options for choosing a domain. I'm going to skip this part for this moment, and we will fill out our information. And before we can proceed, we will need to check this box to agree to SiteGround's terms of service and privacy. And the second box you can leave empty. You can check it if you would like to receive emails from SiteGround. Otherwise, once we're ready to go, we click Pay Now, and it will take us to our very next step.